Hello, everybody. How are we all doing tonight? Yes, very sorry for the late stream. I was planning on streaming slightly earlier, but if you have not noticed on the channel, I have been very busy. I was very busy all night. Last night, I was up until about 1. Excuse me. I was up until about 1 working on the mod chat of the Discord with a link just in case you missed it. Oh, I'm sure I fucking saw that. This coat is warm as fuck. I was just smoking a joint before starting. I mean, I was meditating. I'm checking the mod chat really quick, Stella. Hey, cat, can you shut up, please? Thank you. Thank you. What is the... Okay. Was it the... Well, what's the link you're talking about, Stella? Do I usually serve this much cunt? P Vale, this is nothing for me. I was about to complain that I look terrible. Stream on chat the Twitter link. Oh, did you drop it in the stream? No, I'm not seeing anything in mod chat. Oh, stream mods. God, done. Never mind. Oh yeah, I saw that fucking shit. Yeah, you know what? I'll just go to Alex Jones's fucking thing for that. I am going to feed Miss because I think she's just gonna scream at me. Oh, hey, DD Snugent, thank you very much. Just finished watching your collab with Cirrus and Yara. That was very entertaining. Alec Gunter was there too. But yes, thank you. Also, thank you so much to everybody who's donating. Beth is Beth. Thank you very much for Prime for 9 months in a row. Hi. And then thank you, Comrade Girl 2018, for following. If you are not, by the way, if you have not liked, followed, done all that stuff, one of the many, you know what, because animals are going to be making noises if I don't, I am going to just feed them really quick and then I'll go over everything. You, cat, yes, here you go. Enjoy your goop. Okay. Well, what? So, if you have not yet, if you have the stomach, the constitution for it, and I don't say this lightly, the video, the most recent video, I spent all weekend working on a documentary where I interviewed 9 different people. Yeah, mic is a little bit hot. Let me toast that down a little bit. No, you're right. That's my bad. I spoke to 9 different people. I interviewed 7 of them. I had 5 interviews on Sunday. Interviewing people who had been victims of Grok harassment. Because for those of you who are fortunate enough to not be on Twitter, last week, Elon Musk's machine basically just started allowing anybody to edit any pictures with I'm going to actually just say no safeguards. There is no safeguarding on it. And the result was a mass proliferation of spontaneously generated images depicting, again, I don't know how else to put it, sexual assault and fucking child sexual assault material. It's horrible, and very little is being done about it. And in the wake of fucking everything else that has happened, it is also kind of going underreported. The one fucking person that I saw that was like, the BBC did an article on journalist, I don't remember what terminology they used, but it was essentially just a right-wing influencer, and people were like, oh, how scandalous, she was put in a bikini. And I'm like, okay, these sex workers are getting harassed and assaulted, and anytime they speak out against it, they now have 1,000 dorks in their comments taking their pictures and taking pictures of them with their family and taking pictures of them with like their mothers with cancer, and then just drawing everybody on their knees or covered in cum or shit or fucking getting their heads cut off. Or it's maybe one of, like, it's horrendous. I don't think hey. Yeah, you knock it off. Come here. There you go. Go eat your food, Goofus. Yeah, vile time to be alive. It is Anyway, I talked to 7 people who've been dealing with that, from all different walks of life, all backgrounds, all levels of experience. Some had 2,000 followers on Twitter. Some of them have, I think S has 380 or something. Yeah, it is some of the deepest, darkest shit I've delved into. And in the middle of that, we invaded Venezuela and basically declared open season on the rest of the world. Lady. Hey. Dog. I see you. Stop it. Knock it off, Goofus. Yeah, somebody, Jim Saint 2, is Pastor Steven Anderson redeemable? I mean, I guess that is a very loaded question. I guess it depends on your definition of redemption. Because, I mean, that is somebody who has done unknowable damage to just people's cognition, understanding of the world around them, how they relate to other people for no real reason outside of his own bigotry and small-mindedness. And I like, in a world where I think people like Steven Anderson could try and turn his life around or make amends. Maybe this is Lady's way of saying not to do a live stream tonight. I wasn't going to do a live stream tonight, but Like I said, I am moving different this year. I am trying to keep a consistent Monday, Wednesday, Thursday stream schedule. So I will at least be streaming for a couple hours. And yeah, because it was crazy working. I was up until 2 a.m. working on the documentary. Went to bed, woke up at like 7 and got back to work on it. But that meant that because I was working on that all night, all day yesterday, I did not get the opportunity to stream and kind of talk about everything that's been happening. Hours have not managed to go by without a little bit of just like any bad thing happening. It's fucking crazy, and I feel like I'm low-key going insane. So, let me pull up really quick. Yeah, fucking great. I do not know. G Papa Gio, I do not know that. Yeah, things just keep happening. And here's the thing. So this is insane, and then I'm going to go to the Alex Jones thing. If there is anything we can learn from the way every pundit and dipshit is acting about this stuff, it's that nobody on the conservative aisle and very few of the establishment Democrats seem to actually believe in anything. That when push comes to shove, these motherfuckers will justify damn near anything. For example, Matt Walsh. You know him. You love him. We love to hear about Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh apparently is now just like all in favor of international intervention, when for the longest time we've been told by these people that they're non-interventionists. They don't want us starting foreign wars. They don't want us doing this, that, and the other. They don't want like, oh, if Trump is the peace president. And of course it's fucking bullshit, like everybody said. It's so craven. That's the only way to really describe it. The thing that is truly, and I put out a post about this, but the thing that is truly galling to me is the hypocrisy of it all. Because they're claiming, which they aren't charging him, Pam Bondi's Justice Department didn't charge Maduro for, which, like, what the fuck, whatever. It's, all of this is performative theater. None of this is, like, it is only legitimate insofar as the people running things are doing it, and nobody is holding them to account for the fact that the shit they're doing is unhinged political performative theater that does nothing except service the whims of the upper class. Like, today, the FBI drove through Manhattan with van doors open. Was it FBI? It was one of the fucking agencies. Drove through Manhattan with van doors open, showing off Maduro. So here's the scope of things. And this is just off the top of my head. I know there are details I'll be forgetting because I'm just going off of the stuff that I have remembered. But in the middle of the night, America very likely blacked out most of Caracas, came in by a bunch of helicopters, bombed and killed 80 civilians as of last count, and abducted the leader of Venezuela, who, and the problem is, the thing that makes this hard to talk about is that Nicolas Maduro is a piece of shit and was fucking bad at running the country. The country has become so impoverished in the last 20 years. Most Venezuelans hate Nicolas Maduro. That being said, he is still the leader of another fucking country. There are still loyalists who do like Nicolas Maduro. There are still people in his party running. Like, here, that's the crazy part. There are still people in his country. It is not actually a fucking coup, because the same party is still running the country. They just abducted the leader for a performative show trial. And it has been turned into, is exactly what I said a couple months ago, where it is, all of these motherfuckers are just, they all just want to be Jake Paul. They all just want to be Aiden Ross. It is all just this performative, media-centric bullshit where you have the fucking president posting videos on Truth Social of American helicopters bombing another country with a fucking Fortunate Son playing in the background. Oh yeah, but Grackle, don't get me wrong. Hang on, Maduro had a lot of help being bad at running the country. They were an OPEC nation that wasn't allowed to sell oil. Yeah, there are. Look, I do not want to. I don't want to. This is something that I have talked to a couple of Venezuelans about, because I kind of want to do another interview piece focusing on people in Venezuela because of all of this. I don't want to act authoritatively. I am going by the things I have heard from Venezuelans, from multiple people who have talked about not necessarily their own personal views, but just the tenor on the ground. Like the feeling in the actual country. Those are the people I am trusting most right now with the read on Maduro. And granted, I don't have a comprehensive fucking look. So, like, I am absolutely willing to. Do you think Delcy Rodriguez gave the U.S. intel? Probably, maybe. I don't know. The problem is right now is there are so many weird conspiracies flying around and nobody knows fucking anything, and everything is so weird and unprecedented. And we have the most, like, speaking of fucking opposition parties, that one Zionist nightmare creature, sleep paralysis demon who basically tried to sell out Maduro and be put in charge, and Trump was apparently here's how petty our president is. Apparently Maduro dancing on TV mocking Trump was the final straw in them abducting him, and B, the opposition leader, who technically the political platform agrees far more with Trump, he is refusing to help her gain the reins of power because she didn't give him the Nobel Peace Prize she got. Alex327, so I don't see the Maduro abduction as a negative as someone who is from a different background. See it's a negative to Putin's regime in Russia. So the problem is, and here is what makes it so infuriating to talk about from a U.S. national policy standpoint, is because the Democrats, and you saw this with that motherfucker. Oh, I hate every time I have ever given damned with faint praise Gavin fucking Newsom. That scumbag, lying piece of shit. Oh. Gavin Newsom is out here trying to do the double take, being like, well, Trump shouldn't have done this, but Maduro was a despotic dictator. And it's like, okay, the Dems are doing the exact same shit they did with Iraq. They're doing the same shit they always do, which is to allow the Republicans along the just bullshit course of action that they're already going on, but just, you know, flicking their finger at them going, you're doing it. You're not doing it politely enough. You're not doing it nicely enough. There you go. Walter, my question is how the Venezuelan government going to turn on its head and start handing over resources to the U.S. and fossil fuel companies without the possibility of internal revolt? Okay, so here's the thing. There are so many issues before... And again, this is... I have not done... I've really tried to research this, but I, with all the work I had to do over the weekend, I haven't been able to, dig in as much as I would. A couple of things. One, the oil reserves under Venezuela are a specific type of crude petroleum that is usually quite hard to refine. However, American refineries are often outfitted for that very same kind of oil. The problem in Venezuela is that so much of the country, and particularly ExxonMobil and a lot of the other major oil companies, when they set up shop there in the 60s and 70s, a lot of the technology and the equipment that they have in Venezuela has not been updated in years. And the estimations that I've seen for okay, what would it take to get Venezuela's oil back on track, pumping, flowing like a country that didn't have a shit ton of sanctions for the last decade? What would it take to get this oil out? And people are talking to the tune of billions. It is, we are talking $20 billion to revitalize the oil infrastructure before we even get to the actual oil reserves. The other problem is that Venezuela does give a decent amount of oil to China. And with Trump's current the Monroe Doctrine, and they're gonna do Greenland next. Sorry, there's so many different things. I keep getting off on fucking tangents because one thing just leads to another, and it drives me fucking insane. So yeah, for the Venezuelan oil reserves, there is a lot of work and a lot of stuff that needs to happen until then. Also, the current government leader is not aligned with Trump. The current government leader has condemned the capture of Maduro. Now, whether there's black ops shit happening behind the scenes, I don't know. I am sure, like I talked about in the video, or like I talked about in the stream highlights we did, where we talked about the CIA in Afghanistan and how they worked in South America. I am sure there are people and quote unquote insurgencies and contingencies on the ground already. Yes, Canadian Goose. Pretty sure they also threatened Panama, Mexico, Colombia, and Cuba. Yeah, there is the idea. Fucking Marco Rubio coming out here on primetime TV and being like, "Yeah, no, we're really monitoring the threat that Cuba poses." What threat? Surpassing the fuck out of us in healthcare, in innovation, in science and technology, in medical research and cancer research, despite the fact that we've been sanctioning them for 40 fucking years? Oh, no. Chapik Kuro, Greenland is the EU. If Trump does Greenland, America's standing in the world is completely finally done. I think we're already there. Yeah, no, exactly. I wasn't where Cuba was a threat. So Cuba was a threat because it was allied with Russia in the Cold War. Because if memory serves, Russian ICBMs were being housed in Cuba, and that is that's a fucking swim away from Miami. That's an international fucking incident. What the fuck is there now? What Cuba is a weird international vendetta that just the American hogs have against fucking Chavez and all that shit. But oh no, I've seen the Alex Jones post. Venezuela is, and to your point, somebody brought up how Peter Thiel really wants Greenland. Yeah. Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, all of these fucking people, and you have to, you gotta really understand it. Again, bigger picture. You have Peter Thiel, you have Elon Musk, you have Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, you have people running, companies like ChatGPT, just all of these Silicon Valley vampire fuck freaks who right now have invested billions, if not trillions, into inflating AI. And the one thing that they all need right now are earth minerals. In addition to, and this is part of the clip, I think, that Awesome Seller shows, in addition to the largest oil reserves of crude on the planet, Venezuela also has a shit ton of rare earth minerals. So does Greenland. It's the most transparent shit on the planet. Like, I don't understand how, I mean, I do understand. I understand that this is how capital and oligarchy, this is how capital and colonial empire work together. This is the handshake. What we're seeing here, this is everything working as intended. Because here's the thing. You look at one example of how this shit rolled out. Donald Trump coming out talking about how he talked to the heads of oil companies before notifying Congress and did not get approval from Congress for an act of war and terror. So that's Donald Trump essentially taking orders from corporations. And now, you would think in a system that is working as intended, you have rails, you have safeguards, you have safety bags that go off, you have seat belts and all sorts of other shit that in the event of a collision, in the event of something going wrong, if a machine on a factory floor starts chewing something up and there is a sensor inside that says, whoa, it's not supposed to do this, the machine needs to shut down, people take it apart and people repair it. The problem with this fucking machine is that anytime there's a mistake, we have the Democrat Party to thank. We have people like Chuck fucking Schumer, people like Gavin Newsom, who Gavin Newsom can be Big Billy Badass on the fucking internet all day talking shit about how, oh, look at this fucking AI image. Here's Trump in a diaper here. Like doing this fucking MSNBC brunch mom lib posting to own Trump. But when it comes actually down to it, when it comes to the United States unjust wars over fucking oil, he is a empty skin suit. Piece of shit. Because same lobbyists sign all those fucking checks. The same billionaires help all these motherfuckers get elected. Sorry. Let me go back through. Like I said, I just went in a big circle. Let me go back through this. And thank you very much to everybody who's donated. At work, but dropping by, they want us worn down. They want us panicked. Turn that distress to eustress. They push harder. We push harder. Prepare the worst, both mentally and strategically. We in the world outnumber them. El Salve, thank you very much for $2. Opposing Trump doesn't mean supporting Maduro. And that's the important part here is that if you truly care about the citizens of Venezuela, and that to talk about how like somebody earlier was saying that, okay, well, you don't see the removal of Maduro as a bad thing. The problem is that this is going to create more problems for everybody in Venezuela. You are now creating a space specifically for violent insurgency within a country. And it's a space that is going to be both expanded and capitalized on by the American and Western intelligence apparatus. Like I said, I can all but fucking guarantee you there are CIA assets that have been in Venezuela for fucking months. For months at this point. With the way these assholes have been talking about this shit, how could there not be? We know that months before the press knew that there were CIA assets in Afghanistan, they were there within 16 days of 9/11. We read that out from actual fucking documents from the Afghan war. And they are, it is going to get so much worse. There is no, and you'll notice this, the one funny thing I will say is that I don't think it has ever been so transparent how thin the justification for, spreading democracy is. Because we haven't even gotten the usual manufactured consent bullshit about spreading democracy. They gave that shit up right away because why wouldn't they? Who's gonna fucking call their bluff? The Democrats? No. They could just come out in front of the cameras and tell all of you that yes, we bombed and murdered citizens in a sovereign nation and took their leader because our president is a loser bitch baby who cannot take being made fun of and also is paid off by billionaires. That's what's happening. Like, and why wouldn't they? There's no repercussions for the president coming out and saying, yeah, I talked to all the leaders of oil companies. The oil companies are super chill. They're super happy with all this. Which completely, like if there is one thing anybody on any side of the aisle should take away from this, it is the cognitive dissonance finally dissipating, the scales falling from your eyes, that there has never been an American agenda to spread democracy, to set up actual democracy and fair elections and free trade and all this shit, because we just took a prize. That's it. They very clearly do not give a shit about any of the people there. So much so, they're not even trying to fucking lie about it. Canadian Ghost, I will talk about that. CR Rent, holy shit. Thank you very much for $50. Saw your video on Grok just a bit ago. It's really disheartening to see how people are replacing your humanity with prompts. I'm nervous for the future, but still refuse to give up. If the future is yet to be written, then it's yet to be lost. I like that quite a bit. And yeah, I don't want to sound too doomer. I'm just pissed. I hope I don't sound too, like, it's so Jover, we should all give up. Canadian Goose 07, did you see the story that, yeah, I saw it. New York Times and Washington Post heard about the whole Maduro abduction, decided not to publish it to protect the troops. Fuck the New York Times and the Washington Post. I can't say that because that might get me banned for violence. Yeah, of course they did. Because again, there is no, when you get right down to it, in the face of the true heart of empire and colonialism and capital, when those three intersect, all party lines melt away. It stops being Democrats and Republicans, and soon it is class versus underclass. And the people who work, the fucking, like, the goblins who work and do the editorials for New York Times and Washington Post, that's the type of shit that people like Barry Weiss cut their teeth on. Like, that's where people like her got started. These useful Ivy League educated pawns who are able to give the illusion of some kind of principled moral resistance to things and a principled outrage, and like, oh, this is Donald Trump, and fucking David Frum write another article for me about how, well, Donald Trump is just doing this the wrong way. But when it comes right fucking down to it, they don't actually give a shit. Nehemia, thank you very much for $10. I saw an Instagram reel saying that Saturday was the day the DOJ was supposed to. Oh yeah, no, it was. Yeah, it was. Saturday was the day that the DOJ was supposed to fucking. Hey, why did you fuck up the Epstein files? Oddly enough, hasn't happened, and everybody kind of forgot about it. So, oh boy, just another fucking yippee for everybody. It's. The frustrating part is that this is such a multifaceted issue. Anybody trying to sell this as a, oh, well, it's good that Maduro is out of power, is a fucking moron who is, if they are in the intelligentsia, if you see a talking head on CNBC or MSNBC or any of these fucking places talking about how, well, Maduro did this, and that's why it's good that he's out. they are lying to your fucking face and taking you for a fool. Either that or they are a mouth-breathing dipshit who should never speak again. Because they all know it's not about Maduro. Again, what are the plans right now? Okay. If it was about liberating Venezuela, if it was about spreading democracy, spreading freedom, free elections, if we were really we're capturing him for crimes and he's, he fucked with elections, so that doesn't stand on our watch. Then why every time somebody's like, okay, well, what the fuck is the plan? They're just like, we don't know yet. Because there is no plan. They haven't even bothered to come up with the fucking illusion of a plan. Like it. The boldness is mind-blowing, but then you're like, okay, you think about it for a second, you're like, well, why wouldn't they be? What is the alternative to them just blatantly coming out, laying it all out, and fucking putting it in your face and then laughing at you? What's the alternative? They don't do that. They keep doing the same clandestine CIA psyop mind games they have for 40, 50 years. That shit doesn't work anymore. Nobody trusts each other. Nobody trusts the media. Nobody trusts any of this shit. Why do they have a reason to try and obfuscate anymore? Keep anything clandestine or secret. We have rapists murdering pedophiles in the fucking White House. And everybody knows. And yet still there he sits. The funniest part of it, when I say comedy, people who've watched me before know what I mean when I say something's funny. Darkly funny, existentially dreadful usually. The funniest part of it is, though, the excuses being given when Trump threatened to intervene in Iran last week, saying that, they're shooting protesters and we won't allow that. We'll rescue you. And then Maduro, they were talking about, yes, he fucked with elections and didn't allow people to have fair trial and targeted his political opposition. So I want to be so clear. President Xi, if you're listening, by our president's own metrics, he's a pretty fucking bad despotic leader who should be deposed. I'm just saying. President Xi, fire when ready. Mackenzie, thank you very much for 1266. Sorry. Thank you very much for $5. Seeing so many people cheer this on, then add comments about Greenland and petty revenge comment about Canada is infuriating. Yeah. The idea, like, revenge against fucking Canada for what? For what? For giving us maple syrup? Like, what are you fucking talking about? Yeah. If we continue to try and expand, we are literally Nazi Germany. That's the phase we're at. We are literally, and we have always been, for the last 50, 60 years, America has been the aggressor in every war we've entered. No, honestly, Family Lawnmower, it's... We're gonna need a what was that one TV show with Kiefer Sutherland where he was like the 32nd in line to the presidency, and like a State of the Union got bombed or whatever? We need a situation like that. Because when you look at the list of people who are currently either in line or associated with the line of succession, and people just the reins of power, it is a list of people that you would need to cross them off one at a time to make the world a better and more just place. 24? No. I love how everybody heard Kiefer Sutherland and were like, 24. Yes, it was Designated Survivor. I never saw it. I just thought that was a fascinating idea for a show. Leet Ale, thank you very much for 15 months. War of 1812, they burned down the White House. We will have our vengeance against the hated North. Hopefully. It is... Yeah, there is a lot of... So the one thing that people have been doing a lot of is kind of, and you see this on the farther left, the, what people would call tankies, what people would call, more communist, has been the uncritical advocating for Maduro's government and the resistance fighting against American soldiers. And look, I'm not saying like, oh well, you need to pray for our American soldiers or anything, because if you are dumb enough at this fucking point to still be in the armed services and you get to a point where you get sent to fucking Venezuela, I got no sympathy, dude. Like you grew up, we just got done with multiple generations growing up during the War on Terror and watching us all leave in national disgrace after a war that claimed over 1 million civilian fucking lives so we could build more Nike shoes and Legos and shit. If you are dumb enough to get suckered in to going and fighting for oil on another fucking continent and were born in America, I have no sympathy. You're not fighting for me. You're not even fighting for yourself. You are fighting for the interests of people who do not care if you die. You are fighting against the interests of not only your countrymen, but people you don't even know and you've never even met, who have done nothing to you. And you are simply going to pull the trigger, blow them the fuck away because they're an insurgent, because they're a designated target, because they need to be eliminated. They need to be neutralized. So I want to make it clear what I'm about to say has nothing to do with wanting to protect U.S. interests or U.S. troops. That being said, there are a lot of people who seem to want to side against the U.S. and the West and the imperial core with no other real principle, out of blind anger and rage. And I understand that. When people talk about, this was a thing that like friend of a friend of mine, Cloudy, on Twitter talks about and got harassed over, is like, okay, when people talk about, hey, excuse me, why don't you do something about this? Excuse me, sorry. And they'll be, over in Sweden, they'll be over in they'll be in Brazil, they'll be somewhere. Brazil's pretty big, but they'll be somewhere that is like, like Ecuador, that is like a fraction of the size of America. And it's like, I don't think people understand what it's actually like being an American right now. People have these international ideas about Americans that we are, and a lot of them are true, but they're misarranged. So, for example, a lot of people correctly assume that Americans are gun crazy, bloodthirsty, jingoistic Bible freaks. By and large, you could throw a stone and have a hard time not hitting somebody that falls into one of those, parts of the Venn diagram. That being said, we have a disparity here in America of, let's define it as the people who most value human life, right? Because you have the people who value human life. And I'll call this the left. I'll call this centrist. I'll call this any genuinely kind-hearted person. It can fall along any party line. But the people who are speaking out against Gaza, who have a principled opposition to everything that is happening with Trump declaring war, Venezuela, Greenland, Iraq, Iran, doesn't matter. They are in such staggeringly short supply compared to the power structure of the people who, A, do not respect human life, whether that's brown people overseas or people over here, and B, control everything. When I was talking earlier about AI and the proliferation and usage of these kind of rare earth minerals that are found in Greenland, that are found in Venezuela, that these massive data centers that are fucking sous videing the planet alive right now need to sustain themselves and to keep growing so we can keep having this massive investment sector as this bubble continues growing, yet delivering no actual tangible product. It's not a accident that all of the freaks aligned with that, all of these Silicon Valley, like I said, vampire nightmare people, have been turned into little worm tongues whispering in Trump's ear. It is not a accident that people like Peter Thiel have been buddy-buddy with J.D. Vance. It's not an accident that people like Elon Musk came back into the Trump fold. It is because all of these people, Palantir is monitoring your data right now with CIA contracts. That started at the beginning of the year around the Doge shit. Excuse me. We all know, I just did a piece. I was about to talk about Twitter. And it's like, we all know how fucking Twitter's going. And again, you better believe that all of your data is being scrubbed, not just for Grok and other AI shit, but Palantir and what other deep state bullshit they're putting together to monitor everybody and keep tabs on everybody and their fucking dumbass Minority Report predicting crime bullshit. So we live in a society. We live in a society. But for those who don't understand the state of things in America, here's about the size and shape of it. If you are one of the people who has a opposition to what's happening with Trump, you are also very likely somebody who is in a group being actively targeted for profiling and harassment by the fucking panopticon surveillance estate we have now. You are... Wait, Christian Garcia, hang on. Oh, okay. I was like, whoa. What did Asmund do? Yeah, hello, FBI agents. Exactly. You are, well, actually, you know what? I have a note for all the AI and monitoring agents watching right now. I mean, like, versus... Sure, go for it. Fucking go for it, honestly. Versus, thank you very much for $1.60, by the way. I forgot where I was going with that. I'm sorry. It is just... Oh, the Peter Thiel AI shit. It's not an accident that all this stuff is happening, is coinciding, right? At the same time as just the rampant escalation of violence and violent rhetoric towards a lot of those minority groups, whether that's Somalis, immigrants, trans people, pick a fucking number. Meanwhile, we have greater and greater economic disparity and economic inequality, which is, of course, being laid at the feet of a lot of those groups, whether they have any actual, which they almost universally 99.999% of the time, nobody from that group is affecting anything. It is all these people in power. And they are intentionally keeping us angry at one another. And then on top of that, like the idea of saying, oh, well, Americans, why don't you just protest? And it's like, dog, I don't know. Well, I do know, because I've seen protests in other countries. I've seen protests in France. I've seen protests in Britain. That's cute. It's cute, honestly. The thing about America is that we are a Western country with the police state and enforcement of the most brutal third world banana republic fucking puppet government that, we would target as being, oh, they're unjust, they're unfair, they're all this. Like, our police are not rolling in with riot shields on first blush. Our police are not only holding batons. Our police are not going to back up when confronted. Our police have heavy military ordnance. Our police firebomb city blocks. Our police tear gas women and children. And I'm not talking about fucking bouncing it off the ground like the instruction manual says. I am talking about cracking motherfucking skulls because they aim it at head level. Our LAPD and NYPD, the budget for these militarized police departments for massive metropolitan areas have GDPs, or they are bigger than the GDPs of civilized countries. What the people saying, well, Americans just go protest. Americans just go fight back. You know what? You're right. I haven't. Oh, wow. Hey, have we thought about like rioting and burning shit down? Maybe that'll work. Have we thought about protesting? Have we thought about a peaceful protest? Maybe that'll work. No, it doesn't matter if it's a peaceful fucking protest because it'll still get twisted against us. It'll still be, they're less violent protests. It doesn't fucking matter because, again, guess who controls the narrative? Guess who controls the fucking cameras looking at all this shit? And if it's not fucking Fox News or One American News, now it's CB goddamn S because Barry Weiss, you Zionist cunt, didn't just remove the CCOT story, but then fucking removed a story on the Epstein files. Is anyone still protesting ICE in Los Angeles? So last I heard, a lot of the National Guard have gotten out of Los Angeles, but I'm sure people are still protesting ICE. Yeah, no, at Bloody Bone Witch, I don't have healthcare. I can't afford to get shot by any kind of bullet. Yeah. Like we have, in America, we do have I hate to use the word because I think it's kind of cringe. We have a pretty cucked protest culture in America. I'm not going to lie. I have seen it so many times. I have seen so many protests that people treat. I talked about it in the fucking documentary I did when I went down to LA for the No Kings protest. So many times people treat protests as a living bumper sticker. They go to say that they went and they wave a little American flag right side up and they go, yes, I'm down with Trump and Trump is fucking Putin's bitch or whatever. Like these, again, MSNBC brunch lib bumper sticker yard sign fucking slogans that do nothing. They put pressure nowhere. What? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Fucking Trump. The establishment. They're really shaking in their fucking boots. While all of these 40-something wine moms are out here talking about how, we support this and every human is no human is illegal and all that shit. And then they go back to their perfect little lives and they sip their mimosas on their way back home to their upper middle class lives in fucking LA. And here's the thing that I hear so many people asking, and the thing that is very hard to come to terms with is the concept. It feels like we're going down a checklist of, okay, what do we do? Right? So many people, and I think everybody has their own little private checklist of they'll look out and be like, oh, well, surely, something has to change soon. Okay. So maybe it'll be impeachment. Maybe it'll be this. And the reason I think so many people feel so stressed and tired and desperate and pulled in so many directions is because we've all spent the last 15 years now just look at the American empire for a total continuum of this, but work with me for like the Trump and the rise of the more explicit white nationalism that we're seeing now. It's been metastasizing, but focus on the last 15 years. I forgot. God damn it. I forgot where I was going again. Oh, yeah. What do we do? And as we've gone through issue after issue, have we gone through, Russiagate, the collusion hoax, January 6th, all this shit. At each point down the list, I feel everybody has been keeping it, depending on how much you're paying attention, everybody's been keeping a different tally. And everybody's been going, oh, okay, well, that didn't work. The Jack Smith thing didn't work. Indictments didn't work. Impeached twice didn't work. Oh, we got a mugshot. But he didn't. Oh, fuck. He stole the election again and took power. Fuck. Okay, well, you know what? We'll keep him in check this time. Oh, he's got Project 2025 and a total and concentrated plan to overhaul the government and reshape it in his image and just blitzkrieg everybody else so that nobody can do anything. We, as Democrats and the opposition party, are going to go, and we're going to twiddle our thumbs, and we're going to wear pink and hold up signs at the State of the Union address to let people know that we're definitely, we're very cross. We're very cross with you, Mr. President. This is not how we do business. And meanwhile, the rest of America is left going, okay, well, so this didn't work. This didn't work. This didn't work. We're watching protests not work. And as the situation continues to deteriorate for everybody else on the ground, as we get less and less healthcare, as our education system continues to fucking crumble and people get stupider and stupider because people like Peter Thiel want to literally control your fucking brain and have you worship them as some kind of cyber tech god. As the material conditions continue to deteriorate and we are at each other's fucking throats, more and more people are growing more and more desperate. And this is where you see the random acts of violence that we saw last year, all throughout the year, and that, you betcha we're going to see this year. And I hate that. I hate being able to say that with assuredness. Because the things that happened, we talked about it with Charlie Kirk, and that's the big one that everybody wanted to talk about. But it's not just Charlie Kirk. It was Justin Moan, the QAnon psycho who cut his dad's head off and showed it on video. It's the guy who lit himself on fire outside the Trump trial, who said that Trump was in collusion with the Clintons. It's Aaron Bushnell, who was so overwhelmed by the complicit actions of the U.S. military with the genocide and murder and wholesale slaughter of civilians in Gaza, who self-immolated. All of these people, it was even, you know what, I'll even throw a bone to the dude who blew his Cybertruck up outside of Trump Tower. Like that, I'm myself personally, I think maybe there was some intelligence, something happening there. I don't know. It was just very weird. But I'll chalk that up to a one-off, just this bizarre headspace that so many people are in. And then, of course, you've got Luigi. And in a weird, darkly reflective way, I think a lot of the examples of mass violence, mass shootings we've seen in the last 15 years have come from a similar place of confusion and stress and tiredness. But, you feel somebody's... I think the difference there is if you take a brain and fill it with all of this anti-Semitic garbage and, Illuminati and deep state conspiracies and all that bullshit, it is a lot more easy to crack versus what we're seeing now, which is a mass unraveling of people's mentality. And this is going to be a rough year. AJ Chest, how do we keep each other alive through a robust resistance effort like fed, housed, and supported? So, well, Evil Linum, thank you very much. DD, you said you wanted to not sound doomy. This sounds very doomy. I'm getting to a point. But AJ Chest, get in contact with your local food pantries. This is something I talked about. I go to my local food pantry. There are so many food pantries that are always looking for donations and volunteers. Spread the word about it. Get food in the hands of people, because there are stores, there are smaller shops who will donate expired food. There are so many different things that you can do to the basic necessities of keeping people fed and keeping them in sustainable hygiene. The most basic material needs. And that's really where I say I would start, and then look into left-leaning organizations near you. Because here's the fucking thing. I don't go to every meeting of the kind of local left-leaning groups because I can't. But every time I have gone in the last year to one, the tenor and temperature of the conversation noticeably increases. It is no longer enough for so many people of every demographic, every minority, every background, age group, experience, doesn't matter. It is no longer enough to simply know what's wrong with the world. So many people want to do something. Fighting Hobbit, what'd you say? Bear in mind that they're probably going after Cuba next. Rubio's had a hard on for 8 years since he grew up the child of the Batista regime. Yes. That's almost certainly happening. Because what the fuck? Cuba has been under U.S. sanctions, like has been an impoverished fucking nation that has still managed to flourish, still manages to have way better fucking healthcare than we have, way better educational programs than we fucking have. So then you get into the idea of what do you do? And aside from the obvious, which I won't say what that is, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. There is, I was thinking about this today because I've had contact. I mean, with the National Guard member I interviewed, and I know there are not since the interview. I want to be clear. I haven't talked since then. Statistically, there is no way that there are not a large contingent of people in the government, whether that is active duty military, National Guard, whether that's FBI, CIA, DOD, whether that's Air Force, Marines, whether that's just branches of local government. Statistically speaking, it is impossible that there are not a massive amount of people who are against what is happening. The thing that I take umbrage with when people talk about just, blanket support to the people fighting the American regime in Venezuela is not the sentiment of being against the Western core. It is not the sentiment against, of being against the fucking heinous shit America's doing. Because I feel I've made myself pretty clear that I'm The thing I think I have a problem with is the fact that it doesn't seem there's no deeper plan. It's bad empanada shit. It is stuff where you are just spewing insults while sitting behind a screen and talking about, yes, you should all go die. It's like, okay, well, guess what? That's not helping the civil. Like, if every leftist in America, every American who, yes, we grew up with Nokia phones and iPhones, and we all have fucking, Apple products and Coca-Cola, and we're just living high on the hog because we're yeehaw Americans, but we also are politically principled. If we were all to do what so many dipshits and, online internet cowboys are saying, just go, just fucking revolt, just overthrow them, we would all die. Some of them might die. We would all die. And if we didn't, the United States government, which has the overwhelming might of military force, would then use that as an excuse as they just, they lined it up so poorly with Charlie, but they came so close to being able to crack down literally on trans people. They would use that as an excuse to crack down on anybody and everybody associated with those movements, even tangentially. So what good does that do? It does nothing. It does nothing. The people, the American military is still going to be going to Venezuela or Cuba or Greenland or where the fuck ever. We're just going to have 10,000, 100,000, a couple million dead people who were the last people in America with good intentions, who wanted to help, who wanted to create positive change, who gave a fuck when they saw. I saw earlier today, I was like, just horrors as far as the eye fucking can see. Sorry, I know I'm swearing a lot on this one. I saw a picture today that a doctor got permission to share from a hospital or not a hospital in Gaza, a like a medical camp in Gaza, of dismembered and disemboweled children. And I had to stop and consider that I didn't have time to process what I was seeing because I was busy and needed to get back to work. I was scrolling while I was waiting for something to export. I was busy and needed to get back to work writing an expose on the pedophilia machine that Elon Musk made for Grok. And then I needed to look into the war crimes America was doing. Horrors upon horrors upon horrors. If there is a truism that you should think about or rely on or factor into any planning, it is that all that is necessary, the classic mantra, I think it was a fucking Call of Duty quote at one point. All that is necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. And right now we have a lot of good people in the government. I do not think people are inherently evil for working, for finding a job in the military, because that doesn't determine your morality. What you do with those positions does. And what's even worse is that there's so many people right now who are up against that rock and a hard place where they are afraid to speak out. They are afraid to organize. They are afraid to defy what is blatantly not just against a coat of arms, not just against the oaths that they signed up for, not just against oaths of office and the Constitution, but what are blatantly inhumane. They are acting against their best interests as a human being. They are acting in the interest of capital to help make others richer. And I think I'm going to put together a video talking about how those people can be reached. Because if there is going to be any principled resistance that will be able to dismantle this horrifying machine, it will have to start from within. It will. We are going to have to go back to a time before there was this media landscape, relying on tactics of propaganda, of disseminating information, of spreading the truth. I am talking like, if you are in the intelligence agencies, if you are an American asset, if you work for a local fucking government, if you work for a gubernatorial candidate, if you work filing papers at an army recruitment office, you are a cog in this machine. And you are choosing to continue churning. You are choosing to not rise to the tactical advantage of your position. And I am not saying that people need to, and I want to be explicitly clear, I am not saying that and I'm not even doing this as a Trevor Moore bit. I am not saying that the only way to principally resist what is happening is that you need to be blowing up data centers. You need to be dropping grenades in, the back of empty supply trucks. You need to be sabotaging gear. Those are, I'm not going to advocate for those, but those are certainly ideas. I am not saying that, if you happen to be in Venezuela, waiting for the new shiny equipment and oil drilling gear before you sabotage it would be the best course of action. I'm not saying that. That is a thing you could say. What I am saying is that information has more value than I think anybody is giving credit, particularly the people who are controlling the narrative, particularly the people who are trying to decide for you what is or isn't real, who are trying to define the terms of their reality and make you all live in it. Because there is no framework that I was raised on. As somebody who was raised in a Christian conservative family who grew up, I was proud to be an American. Grew up listening to fucking Glenn Beck books and Rush Limbaugh and all that shit. There is not a single framework for American exceptionalism, for American pride, for America being just a beacon of truth and liberty and freedom and all the propaganda we bought into. There is no way you can honestly believe that looking at what we're doing now. If you say you do, you are lying. You're lying to yourself. And look, I think that is going to have to be the first phase of any kind of attempt to dismantle from within, is going to be disseminating these ideas. It is going to be attacking these strategic weak points. And when I say weak points, like I'm talking about people here. And what I mean by weak points is that there are people who are torn in their conscience right now as people, who see what we are doing, who are experiencing the cognitive dissonance of what they believed America stood for, and the realization that it was all a fucking lie. And that is where people need, especially on the left, need to be capitalizing. That is where people on the left need to be going, hey, if you are in an office, if you are at a military base and somebody says to you, fuck, I can't believe we did this shit. Like, that's crazy. You don't go, yeah, no, that's crazy. I hope we don't get pulled down. You start really talking to them. You make contact. You fucking talk. Because people, despite party lines, despite what they think, and I'm not, there's somebody in the chat who's saying, translator, 20-year Marine Corps veteran disgusted by our government as well as the people in our country that support these fascists. I want to be clear. There are absolutely people in the military who do support this shit. I would say like a lot of recruitment probably went to ICE for the real fucking dollar store, former mall cop, completely unqualified doughboy fascist contingent. I think they probably all went over to ICE for a little while. But there are white supremacists, there are Nazi gangs, there are tons of evil people in the military, to be sure. But there are also a lot who aren't. There are also so many Pat Tillmans out there. The reason that people join the military, and this is not universal, but the reason that there is a contingent of people who want to genuinely do good, and whether it's because the circumstances they were raised in, that they did not see the other side of America, who have realized, who have come around to what this project, this military colonialist and imperialist project actually signifies. But they go into the military, and I've seen a lot of people talk about it in the chat right now, where there are so many people who became disillusioned with military service. And if you thought with the fevered pitch of jingoism in the Iraq War, with fucking 9/11, I'm talking, like, take yourself back, for those who were alive there, take yourself back to the days of fucking Freedom Prize and the Dixie Chicks and Toby Keith and all that horseshit. Call of Duty and Michael Bay Transformers and all of that. Just, this is the coolest shit ever to be an American soldier. If people can, of their own volition, like Pat Tillman, come to be objectors of the morality of that war, if people can, on their own, in the midst, in the heart of the propaganda machine, see through the bullshit and see it for what it is, then you better fucking believe right now there are so many people thinking the exact same things. I'm going to get to these super chats really quick. Fighting Hobbit, thank you very much for 30 bits. The oil from Venezuela is trash, though. We're better off quality oil from offshore drilling and in higher quantities. Literally, the only value we extract from Venezuela is refining it, and there's not even much of that to be had. The whole thing was just a massive dick-waving exercise. Yeah, and we talked about it at the beginning. I don't know if you saw it or if you missed it, but it would also take, like, to renovate and update all of the oil extraction equipment, all of the pumps and everything would be in the tens of billions of dollars. That's being estimated by, you know, some of the articles I've read about, like, oh, how are the markets bracing and all that shit. Because I think there were a lot of people who heard about this and were like, oh shit, bet on, you know, ExxonMobil, bet on fucking State Street or whatever. But there is a lot of, it was weird watching like some stock people talk about it, because when you go into like any of those, like the Reddit Wall Street stocks or anything, a lot of the comment sections are full of people being like, yo, I thought this was gonna, like, shit was gonna pump. And it's like, no, because like it doesn't just go up. Also, oil is at kind of an all-time low right now. The oil market itself kind of needs a weird kickstart. So it's like, it's not a fully sured thing. It is a propaganda move. You're absolutely right there, Fighting Hobbit. 20 bits, thank you very much. When Snap was borked, I made soup for my fellows. Hell yeah. Literally sat them down, told them not to steal my stock. Quote, I don't want to catch any of you motherfuckers snacking on the line. That's a roast con pollo and a stock pot and the walk-in. Ooh. Ooh. Hell yeah. Chicken, let's go. Kept a lot of people fed during those weeks. Let's fucking go, Fighting Hobbit. That's what I'm about. Yeah, sorry, give me a second. DD, just to be here, how is that not considered war profiteering? I mean, I've got news for you about what capitalism is. Like, when people go and use, which, like, whoever came up with Polymarket, again, I can't. All right, so here's my problem. When I make a satirical joke about what should be done to people, I go Mortal Kombat with it. I get too Manhunt. I get too Tarantino. I get too viscerally violent. You know? So I can't say what I think should happen to the person who came up with Polymarket. But everything you're seeing now where people are betting on shit, like people making money off of international incidents and mass shootings and the most heinous shit in the fucking world, where do you think that got started? That's the stock market. That's, this person died, so this company is going out of business. This person got assassinated, so this stock goes up. This lawsuit, 10,000 people died because they got fucking lead poisoning off this thing. Okay, well, it's going to dip. Buy it before it shoots back up. It doesn't matter if it's over here or overseas. That's capital. When people talk about how there's no ethical consumption under capital, that's what they're talking about at a core level. You cannot navigate this system without having exploited another person. And if you participate in it at the level of stocks, at the level of, day trading and, like, fucking Wall Street, you are facilitating that exploitation. You are pulling the buttons that is throwing people into these machines that grind them up and spit bones out. And then the most evil thing, somebody saying Max Insanity, I think the stock market is the most evil thing in existence. And I would argue it is so much. When you think about it, when you think of the massive amount of pain and suffering that has been enacted in the name of profit by America, it is so much more evil when you consider that we're raised to believe it is a symbol of opportunity. We are raised to believe that things like the stock market are what make America great. Because if we were not raised to believe that, if we did not have these ideas implanted in our heads and reinforced everywhere from movies to TV to fucking politicians to news broadcasts, if we didn't have those ideas, our minds would tear themselves apart at the dissonance of how evil we can all see America for being. Capitalism is normal and proven right. Okay. It's normal to not care about anybody else. Yeah, capitalism was how we got to the point of cities. Oh, okay. Capitalism and normal and proven right. Okay, I got what you're saying. Okay, nobody jump on him. Oh, no. Nobody jump on him. Okay, yep. I gotcha. Whew. All right. I was about to be like, okay, let's go back to before cities were made. Let's go tribal with this. Good. Sorry, LaCrocia. That's my bad. Also, sorry if I misgendered you. I don't know what your pronouns are. Yeah, no, Sterling Nash. I keep thinking about fucking Wall Street and Gordon Gekko lately. Yes, thank you, Johnny Viral. Due to the seriousness of the stream, just a reminder, chat, if you're joking, please indicate in some way. Kappa, lol, whatever. Remember the golden rule, text does not convey tone. So fucking true. No, I have so many things to... Not into the Weeblet. Oubliette. I keep calling it a Weeblet. Not into the oubliette, then they phase out and they don't exist until their next turn. I was about to pull the trigger on the anti-capitalist Hellfire mission. It is so... Yeah, I don't know how many people feel similarly to everything I've said. I imagine a lot of you do if you're here. But when big shit like this happens, a lot of people like to know what I think about it, and it is an ongoing situation that by no means is over. And I think that what we are seeing now is they're running back last year's playbook. This is how they started last year, with a absolute blitz, ignoring all guardrails, anybody who would say no, pushing them to the side and just moving ahead. And last year was the trial run. Last year was the chance for the United States, the American system, to intervene and say, no, actually, the fuck you don't. You fucking thought. And instead, what did we get? We got letters of condemnation. We got occasional news broadcasts. We got Chuck Schumer every now and going, well, we're looking into this. This is very unprecedented. But you know what else we got? We got Charlie Kirk. Well, so to speak. And the scary part is that if this is the shitty direct-to-video, if that would be direct-to-video, that doesn't make sense. If this is the traditional, shitty, more expensive sequel with more explosions, way less story that we're seeing right now, this year, they are making the sequel to what they did last year. and just expanding on it, making it bigger in every way, then the blowback and the fallout from that, I see no reason why it wouldn't increase in kind. I don't know. I just God damn it. Yeah, Nehemia, the Heritage Foundation as a Project 2026. Axios has an article. Not surprised. Not surprised. Charlie Kirk, the funny meme guy. Fighting a Hobbit. Want to know something funny? This hasn't moved the needle on Trump's approval. Oh yeah, I'm sure. And it's funny to me how petty he is. Which, like, I know we've always known he's petty, but it is humiliation on top of humiliation. Just the shit that they're doing, where you have just this fucking shit sack, pedophile, rotting husk of a just in a fucking zipped up in an XXXX XL hot dog skin. And he has full control of everything. He has more money than most people could ever want. And he still gets literally triggered. Our president gets triggered by another head of state doing a goofy little dance, mocking him. What the fuck do you say? Like, how do you navigate that with any degree of, I don't want to say seriousness, because there is a, like, obviously this is a very serious thing. Innocent people died. Innocent people die every day. But the difference between that, somebody dying because they stepped off a curb at the wrong time, or somebody, slipping off a rock, the difference between that and 80 civilians in Caracas is that the 80 civilians didn't have to happen. It wasn't an accident. And it won't be the end. Because this is the country, like I was talking about earlier, that is run top to bottom by people. Put aside all party politics. This is run by people who do not value human life. They do not value the sanctity of life. They clothe themselves in the language of righteousness, this faux pretension that by simply invoking God, they are as godly as a priest, as a monk, as somebody who has studied it. And they just go out and murder. They feel sanctified in doing so. Yeah, those civilian deaths were according to lying Venezuelan media. I will side with the people in Venezuela over anything. Like again, it comes down to this thing of, like, look at CBS News, look at the New York Times, look at the Washington Post, look at my media establishment, dog. But, like, seriously, look at the people who we thought for so, like, again, this fourth estate bullshit is exactly that. If you have somebody in your life who still thinks of the New York Times or the Washington Post or, fucking MSNBC or Rachel Maddow, they still think of them as, like, the bulwark, that these journalists are keeping power in check. The next time somebody says that shit to you, if it's your mom, if it's your grandma, if it's a family member, if it's a friend, if it's your boomer fucking coworker, you need to laugh in their face cartoonishly. Because why would you think that? Why would you look at the state of the world and look at everything going on right now and be like, yeah, these guys are definitely in our corner for sure. And additionally, they can be trusted with whatever news that they're definitely not getting as direct talking points from the administration. Aaron Sorkin led me to believe it was the newsroom. Ooh, fucking Aaron Sorkin would hate to see me coming. A low tier god on Aaron Sorkin. Let me go to. Yeah, so let's watch this since I've been sitting here just to fucking. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. I'm like kind of low key thinking of seeing if I can figure out how to move to China. Like I don't know how my neuroplasticity is for learning Chinese and like the 3 dialects or whatever. But I saw a video. Granted, here's the other annoying thing is that yeah, we're in we are in a constant state of information warfare, and I think leftists are particularly prone to I think a lot of leftists are prone to a grass is greener mentality when it comes to anybody who's like traditionally seen as, you know, United States opposition. So when it comes to China, so I don't want to undersell. I'm mostly joking. I don't want to undersell the grievous, awful shit that China has done and continues to do. That being said, and granted, this is part of the information warfare. It could be totally fucking fake. But when I see videos of China's cities and the tech they have over there, when I see videos of people saying that, yeah, most young couples in their 20s and 30s in China have their own, like, houses they own. And it's like a time-lapse video of this, you know, charming young couple. I'm like, ooh. Ni hao. Ni hao indeed is my response. Nehemia, thank you very much for $10. But Sorkin said that the right is just a moderate group of politics, is all just level-headed, kind-hearted patriots making decisions based on what's best for America. Yeah, it's that kind of bullshit that, like, man, maybe I'll do a West Wing retrospective. If I do, because I talked about, I actually have, I bought 3 notebooks for different things. One of them is for interviews, stays at my desk. One of them is for a Yellowstone deep dive video I'm doing. And then one is going to be for my PS2 year-long. So I decided to do as a kind of experiment for all of the year, except for a couple extenuating circumstances, the only games I will play in my free time will be from the PlayStation 2 generation. To just kind of see, it's an experiment to see like what kind of effect moving away from massive multiplayer, gachas, live service, modern AAA, like what, completely removing all that shit, completely removing the state of games as it is now, and then just playing like mid-aught stuff. And so it's kind of it's a weird overlap because it's not just PS2 games. It's going to be, I think I'm going to delineate it as Dreamcast, because like Dreamcast through not 2005, but Dreamcast through PS2. Because, so while I don't own a Dreamcast or an original Xbox or an original GameCube, I do own a PS2. I also have a shit ton of PS2, Xbox, GameCube, and Dreamcast games digitally. So it's kind of a, like, it's wrapped up in there a little bit. PS2 Africa, big PS2 fan. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Um, Dead Domain, the rise and fall of Capcom horror. I did that. Wait, Fighting Hobbit. That was a video I already made. What are you talking about? I might check out PC XS2. But yeah, I just want to kind of see what effect, if anything, it has. And that being said, obviously things like Mass Effect 2, which I'm doing a Let's Play of with my partner. We, for obvious reasons, we didn't do it this last Sunday, but we will be continuing this next Sunday. And so those, and then any games that I will play for work or on stream. So if I do a stream of a game, if I'm doing a sponsored stream, if I can get a sponsorship, if I'm doing a release or launch stream, if it's a game that I really, 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 really want, and there's only 2 of those, I'm kind of going to break those rules under the broad banner of it being work. And then of course for footage capture, because I still am writing and have plans to write a bunch of video game themed essays, like the Hideo Kojima's mommy issues. I can't really record footage of Death Stranding on a PS2, so it's stuff like that I am breaking the rules, but I want to. It's the thesis is basically I am in my free time and when I'm playing video games for fun, essentially, I am only playing games from that generation. Because let me tell you, if you've never worked a job, people who have captured footage or worked in the game industry or done video reviews, you will be nodding along as I say this. But if you've never worked a job doing those things, you probably see, when people make video essays and stuff about video games, oh, you're just playing video games all day. And it's no. Capturing footage is very fucking different from actually being able to enjoy a video game. Because you are very often, you're looking for one very specific thing. You are trying to show off good gameplay. You're trying to make yourself not look like shit. Usually it is a matter of okay, I want to capture this scene, and God, if you don't have a save file, or if it's a long game, that is, you are slogging through shit that you do not want to be probably doing for hours sometimes to get ooh, I fucking want that. Zolta, what angers me about leftists on China is some excuse China when it comes to Tibet, they treat China's program to erase Tibetan culture and language. That's exactly the kind of shit I'm talking about. Some of the stuff that, I don't watch Hassan, but some of the stuff I saw about his China visit, I was just man, come on. To me, it comes off as a form of white man's burden. Yeah. Oxpecker, please, if you do this and play Marvel Nemesis and this gladiator game called Colosseum slides pixel money under the counter. Thank you for 100 bits. I'll be doing, so my throne, I updated my throne. There's a bunch of new stuff on there if you want to help me get a new chair. There are a couple PS2 games I managed to find on there. Have I played God Hand? I have God Hand on PS3. That's the other place I have a shit ton of PS2 games. And I'm kind of thinking, here's the thing. If this video does well, or if it's interesting, because if I get halfway through the year, and I'm there's nothing here, I'll fucking quit it. But if it is interesting, I could see this going for a couple more years as a year-long project type thing, where it's okay, well, after I play only the PS2 generation, what if I just play stuff from Saturn and 64 and PlayStation for a year? What if I just fucking play that? That sounds actually really, really hard. Not saying that, PS2 isn't going to be a test, but have you done a Nina Williams cosplay? No, I don't have the latex or the tits for Nina. Nehemia, thank you very much for $5. Both China and the USSR were/are imperialist. Yeah, that's one of the other things that kind of weirds me out when people are yes, yay China, fuck America. Is that dog? They're all playing on the same stage. Like, just because you're rooting against one doesn't mean you got to root for the other. What did damn Sputnik say? I want. There we go. Yeah. Shining Force. Weird. I think I might have actually just played a little bit of Shining Force. Did you ever play PSP or like any games on it? Yes. I played a lot of PS2 games on the Vita. I loved my Vita so dearly. And I played a lot of the backwards compatible ones, and then I've played, the ones that have kind of come to PS5. I like the PSP. PSP was cool as shit. Christian Garcia, an idea for Pride Month, LGBT coded and explicit content games. Yeah, all right, so here's the thing. That's not a bad idea, but I already made a video that covers stuff like that. I already made the oh my goodness, oh my beautiful liar. Thank you very much for $2. Yeah, I just answered. The PSP. I dig the PSP. Oh, fuck yeah. See, Peace Walker is so unique, I kind of forget it came out on PSP. Like, it doesn't play or feel like it. Well, and I've also only played it on TV. Severin, are you shadow banned? I see you. Which video? Let me... what the fuck was it called? There we are. Claiming queer characters was the video I did. This was like my big... I'm so fucking bummed this only has 19,000 views. This was my big, like, wrap-up Pride video for last year when I did a bunch more, like, Pride-focused content. Because I didn't... Yeah, let me... I'm just going to post it in chat if anybody wants to check it out. And gameplay revolving around switching outfits mid-battle to grant different abilities. To many, presumably cis male gamers, these are just returning characters and new game mechanics for a continuation of Final Fantasy X's story. But as the comments attested, several trans people and queer people felt a bit more attachment towards these characters. I can only speculate as to why, but I'd guess a story about a ragtag found family going on fantastical adventures together while using fashion and accessorizing as a key gameplay mechanic might be cathartic to someone who would have been in the closet in the early 2000s when the game came out, or simply anyone who was queer who didn't see themselves regularly in media. Here's the very simple distinction to be made when a character or piece of media... What was going on with my hair? I hate that. Oh, it's a bad look. I do not like that. Oh, I was sunburnt. That's what it was. Say they haven't cried or at least gotten weepy. Because for so many of us, we don't get to see our stories told, and certainly not with this depth and honesty. There's a lot to be said about radical art and how queer people should make more of their own art. I saw the TV Glow felt like a bounteous feast after being fed scraps for most of my life. And this kind of representation is explicit. Like the inverse of Gerudo, Link, or Cloud in a dress, I don't expect the characters to be canonically trans or queer because I identified with them for a few moments. And I don't expect cis people to be impacted as much by a movie like this, even when they understand it. That's not to say it's hard to parse as a film, it's very on the nose with its metaphors, but it's just not going to mean the same thing to somebody who has never seen themselves represented this way. This is the power of explicit representation, but usually queer people, and especially trans people, don't get positive explicit representation. At best in mainstream art, we get unconfirmed hints at representation. One of the best subtle readings of a character in recent memory was Spider-Gwen in the recent Across the Spider-Verse films. From the Protect Trans Kids sign above her door to the trans flag color palette of her world, and then her entire story revolving around
her dad accepting her identity as Spider-Woman being easily read as a stand-in for a parent struggling and successfully accepting and reconnecting with their trans kid. It's touching and beautifully told, but it's also never explicitly stated that Gwen is actually trans. Her story is simply being used by viewers as a stand-in for experiences many trans and queer viewers will be familiar with. Like Link, she's become something of an unofficial queer icon, making another straight white character for the roster of popular queer representation. And this is representative of what's unfortunately a best case scenario usually. Existing as a metaphor is one of the best things we can hope for up until now. Content warning for transphobia in media. More often than not, the representation queer people have received, while broadly improving over time, has been much less thoughtful, especially regarding trans characters. Growing up, many will remember Ace Ventura or Silence of the Lambs. For me, it was Woody Harrelson playing a prostitute in Anger Management, and the character Carmen in It's Always Something to Be Used, not a person so much as a prop for a gag to be ridiculed and never thought of again. Carmen in Always Sunny is particularly interesting. I'm going to talk about the first season of the show in 2005 like a middle-aged white woman excusing her father from saying the N-word and just say, Always Sunny is from a different time, which is true culturally. It occupied a place in a growing internet boom of black comedy and edgy post-9/11 content that includes things I did love growing up. I grew up watching South Park. I actually just finished an Aqua Teen Hunger Force rewatch.
That's fucking cool.
The character of Carmen is most interesting against this backdrop, however, because she's not explicitly depicted as being disgusting. Mac is chided and embarrassed to be with her and is made fun of by his friends, but the comedy here isn't from a character being depicted as a grotesque monstrosity who doesn't pass. This was the MO of several other pieces of media at the time, including South Park, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and this particularly awful run of Garth Ennis's Punisher. Just don't ask. And in the grand scheme of representation, Carmen has come to be appreciated far more by trans people, and I think a lot of that has to do with the contemporary media around her using depictions of transness and gender nonconformity to punch down on an already victimized group, but also yes, but nothing about those characters to me speaks to my experience of being queer, or other people I know. There's only so much you can do, in fairness, with an online multiplayer shooter, but having a game out for several years that included backstories, animated shorts, comics, and more, and then deciding to tell everyone, feels like a little bit of an afterthought to me. It feels backhanded. Representation that's been shoved into me to quota. That could just be me and my interpretation of the art.
Yeah. Anyway, that was my I did do a video that was it kind of touched on that, so I think that would be, going over stuff I've already covered. Yeah, let's watch this back to that's going to give whiplash. Now, let's finish up the fucking Venezuela shit. So, Grand Rapids, Michigan, police arrested a protester right after criticizing Trump's invasion of Venezuela on ABC.
This is not just a foreign issue, it's our tax dollars that are also being used to commit these war crimes. It is also the duty of us, the people, to stand against the Trump regime, the Trump administration that are committing crimes both here in the U.S. and against people in Venezuela.
Now, in the background of this interview, you could see that police car, and now right here we're showing you video we have. Immediately after the interview finished, Plickta was arrested by 2 Grand Rapids police officers. You can see it in the video, and an officer tells Plickta that she is being arrested for obstructing a roadway and failure to obey a lawful command.
So, do you see a roadway? She's talking on the fucking sidewalk. That's some Russia shit? No, that's some America shit. Like, here's the fucking thing. I need people to understand in America, we are not... This land of the free bullshit it's a front to justify the perpetuation of empire, essentially. Like, this is, this is like something a third... No, this is something we do. Look at all the shit we are pointing fingers at for Maduro, for Iran being like, oh, they're shooting protesters. Oh, they're targeting their political opposition. Oh, Putin is very bad. He's attacking sovereign countries without any authority. Yeah, That's welcome to fucking America. That's where we're at. I'm gonna go to Alex Jones. So Alex Jones shared this clip of the CIA-funded and backed Jack Reacher Amazon show. And what I was talking about is I might end up going back through West Wing at some point. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I've never watched West Wing, so I have no like attachment to it. And literally every time I've ever seen it, it looks like the driest, most boring bullshit in the world. Wait, no, I think didn't Jose or Big Joel already do West Wing rewatch? Thank you. Holy shit, Nehemia, thank you very much for $5. Do you see Zelensky's response? Yeah, I did. That's funny. That Zelensky is a comedian, remember? I consider that a joke. The idea that Zelensky's like, hey, fucking Trump, you wanna take care of this fucking asshole Putin over here? Like what do you think? Trump probably just laughed at that. Like, honestly, like, come on. Yeah, no, exactly. Flying rat dog. Friendly reminder, black people existing in a cafe was an arrestable offense not so long ago. Can't act like this is crazy for America when there are people alive who experience this. Yeah, it is. This is why I'm always like any good leftist, any good, like, again, not just leftist. So many, when I say things about ideology, they are not just applicable to the left. They should be applicable to most people who are just decent human beings who see other people as also human, who see others as sentient and having their own thoughts and feelings. So one of those things, for example, a lot of leftists, it is good to listen to people from minority groups. On, you know, I'm not saying that if you're in a minority group, that automatically means you're right. Like you don't, nobody is going to be like, well, can't believe you're talking over Candace Owens, white boy. Because it's like, come on, man, you know what you're doing. But by and large, like there's so much knowledge outside the purview of particularly white males that we're as Americans, particularly unfamiliar with, you know? Like you don't see shit until other people turn it on to you. So yeah, Alex Jones. So this is a particularly interesting clip because if you aren't as familiar with Alex as I am, okay, give me 1 second. Oh, it was Renegade Cut who did West Wing. Yeah. Okay, you know what? Then I'm claiming Yellowstone. Ooh, if Renegade or fucking Joel or Jose, if any of them touch Yellowstone before I get to it, we're gonna have words. Non-compete. I will have to check. I haven't checked out non-compete. Yeah, Alex Jones is the turn the freaking frogs gay guy. If you aren't familiar, because I've listened to, for the last several years, I have listened to a lot of Knowledge Fight, right? And Knowledge Fight, if you aren't aware, they are there's a reason that Knowledge Fight has now like 3 different imitator podcasts, being there's one about Russell Brand, there's one about Joe Rogan, and I think there's one about there's another one out there. And the reason behind that is that the formula is so good and there's so much to research, and they are always bringing just great fucking research that it when viewed in totality, Knowledge Fight is kind of like the longest video essay. Well, not really video, but the longest essay on a person ever.
because it is just a constant string of high-quality analysis of Alex Jones's actions and how he is a perpetually self-serving grifter. And a lot of that digs deep into the way that he tries to tie conspiracies together, but will then also try and reorganize that when it no longer suits him. Which is all, I'm wrapping that all around to say, Alex has, for decades, talked about, what's the fucking thing? There's a specific conspiracy term for it when there's, like, symbolism and like media programming, programmatic language. Oh, what the fuck is it? It's Daddy Shark. Renegade Cut's my favorite. I think I've seen some Renegade Cut stuff. Exactly. It is subliminal messaging. Thank you. Fuck, that's what it is. Subliminal messaging in media. Because one of the most long-standing conspiracy tangents of the last, I don't know, since movies are around, has been people going to movies and thinking that those movies are trying to spread some subliminal mind control shit. And the funny part is, because it'll be stuff that the movies they pick are always the ones that are like actually fairly innocuous, right? Like it'll be like, oh, because they're trying to tell you about the Rothschilds conspiracies through Elysium, and it's like, fucking what? Like you're talking about med beds, and you're telling me about fucking Chappie? What the hell? But then the other half, predictive programming. That's what it is. Thank you very much, Sassy Sasa. It is, well, it's not even Papa Julie. It's not like Easter eggs or like secret hidden symbolism necessarily, unless you get into gematria, and that's a side tangent. And get into QAnon, we can talk about that shit. No, to its credit, Elysium literally has medbed, but it becomes wrapped up in these conspiracies of like, and the globalists, the elites, they have this technology and they know exactly what's being used for, and like all this kind of shit. And they try and tie that into these grand narratives about informational control, and Alex Jones's whole thing is the info war, and all that stuff. But the funniest part to me is that there are legitimate and very easy to see and very easy to prove examples of that actual programming and propaganda, except it's done by the United States motherfucking government, and it has been forever. The idea that like and honestly, it's hard to, some people in QAnon believe in gematria because it's number shit, and like, I mean, Q is all number stuff. Like what's the fucking, yeah, there is a lot of number shit in Q. Hello, dog. Hello. A little bit of numerology. It is. You are fine. All right, come here. Yes, there you go. Get your pets. Fighting Hobbit, thank you for 20 bits. $10 says he somewhere somehow talked about how Anna makes me gay because someone showed him Astolfo from Fate. I wouldn't be surprised. RDY, thank you very much. Excuse me. Thank you very much for $10. Not even been a week and I'm already tired of this year. One positive though, I finally got approved for my college vet tech externship. Let's fucking go. Let's get some, can we get some goats in the chat for RDY? That's fucking awesome. Proud of you. Good job. I also love my puppy. Yes, I do. She's just sitting here. I'm scratching her and her little tail's going. Oh, you want to play, huh? You're playful. We just went for a walk, Goofus. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Nehemia, okay, I don't have Koa here. I'm going to be right back. Oh my goodness.
I need to take her out real quick. I'll be right back. Alrighty, chat. All right, give me 1 second and I'll be right back. Okay. Oh, god damn it. I just filled my water and I left it in there. All right, give me 1 second. There we go. You talked about Venezuela's neighbor nation, Guyana. With their ongoing land dispute, this could literally hit close to home for my relatives. I have not. I mean, we have talked about just the kind of widespread effect that this is going to have, and I feel like that is... It's terrifying. Like you're talking about a nation right next to, and who knows what more American intervention looks like. But all I can do right now is pray for the safety of literally everybody there, everybody in and around the area. Nehemia, thank you very much for $5. Remember seeing that video of a woman saying Monster energy drinks are satanic because the logo is 3 Vavs. Vav in Hebrew is numeral 6. Let's fucking go. That's awesome. That's so funny. What are we talking about? Oh yeah, this Alex Jones conspiracy theory bullshit. So it's particularly funny for Alex Jones to be pulling out the same stuff when you have a show like this that is literal CIA funded and backed propaganda. This Jack Ryan has been known for a long time. It's a very popular series based on Tom Clancy, whatever the fuck. it is CIA intelligence community propaganda. A lot of shows are NCIS, I would say CSI, but like a lot of procedurals and stuff have some kind of backing there. But then you get into stuff like, you know, most Michael Bay movies, most movies that have any kind of military asset coordinators, like if they're using a tank or a Humvee or some shit in the background. Like, these things have to go through multiple levels. There are entire liaisons and entire departments for Hollywood to liaison with the American military-industrial complex to make sure that you're representing us in just the right light. And the thing is that, like, the American military is roughly... I mean, like, it's a little better than some militaries. Like, it you know, allows people to be villains in the military. It allows, you know, to have these position Marines or active service members in terms of, you know, needing to maybe do some bad to defend freedom or to spread democracy or whatever, because that gives them. I talked about this in the video I did on the CIA playbook 2 videos back now, where it gives them a kind of plausible deniability to be like, see, we don't always like it's this isn't propaganda. Look, this how can it be propaganda and it fucking blah, blah, blah. Oh no, Tucker Carlson saying Venezuela was invaded to institute gay marriage. That's fucking insane. No, Tucker has one of the weirdest takes on this, as I guess I would expect. But Mike Cernovich on Maduro's capture. Everything is downstream from the spiritual war. Wow. Wow. Yeah, smart, dude. Yeah, the guerrilla mindset. Oh wow, he's had multiple pedophiles on his show then. He's so quirky. Yeah, Padagardi. Yeah, and so Joe's. Oh wait, no. I'm naked. There we go. Yeah, so I want to watch this really quick, and just like Alex Jones being like, "Ooh, yes, see, this is the secret sauce they don't want you to know about why Venezuela is so dangerous," and it's him like literally. This is a script that was written by a fucking CIA office assistant. I want you to. I've watched this clip. Listen to this shit. This is the most manufactured consent, putting in the mind of every Amazon viewer or whoever watches this bullshit that it's like, oh yes, no, Venezuela is definitely actually a danger and something we need to fucking, even though, you know, of course, 99% of people didn't give a fuck about Venezuela before these jackasses started getting the gears turning.
Major threat on the world stage. Anybody, just call it out. You don't have to raise your hand.
Definitely Russia.
Definitely Russia. That's confident. I like it.
explained.
Who says Russia? Anybody agree with her?
Also, oh shit, because it does that, of course.
Okay, great. Who else?
The idea of like, it's so stupidly American to have this, to be the culture responsible for these international acts of aggression, things that will surely become dominoes that will lead to far more war, instability, deaths, all of which can easily be avoided. And in response, you're like, yep, let me explain to you global geopolitics from this clip of a TV show. Because here in America, this is how we get our beliefs. Here in America, we have people who will try and talk philosophy to you, and then will be like, well, it's actually just like Thanos said.
China. Stop yelling at me, but China is a good answer. Anybody? Who else? China?
North Korea?
North Korea. Any North Korea takers? And Venezuela? Anybody? No? Oh, yeah. one guy in the back. A little worried about Venezuela. Everybody's cool with Venezuela? No threat? Okay. Let me ask you this. Which one of these places can claim to have the largest oil deposit on the planet? More than Saudi? More than Iran? Wow. Okay, what about things like gold? More than all the mines in Africa combined? The fact is that Venezuela is arguably the single greatest resource of oil and minerals on the planet. So, why is this country in the midst of one of the greatest humanitarian crises in modern history? Let's meet President Nicolas Reyes. After rising to power on a wave of nationalist pride, in a mere 6 years, this guy has crippled the national economy by half. He has raised the poverty rate by almost 400%. Luckily for the rest of us, he's up for re-election. So, who's running against him? This is Gloria Bonalde. Now, Gloria is a history professor turned activist. She's running against him on a social justice platform and on the strength of, in my humble opinion, just not being an asshole. Analyst predictions, as of today, have the chances of Venezuela's total economic collapse at 87%. On the news, they'll call it a crisis. But on the world stage, they'll call it a failed state. If you've never heard that term, other examples of a failed state in recent history are Yemen, Iraq, and Syria. And if that's not bad enough news for you, well, Venezuela is also the only one of these places within 30-minute range from the U.S. of next-gen nuclear missiles. You will not hear about any of this on the news.
No, you'll hear about it in our CIA-sponsored Amazon slop. Like that's what this is.
Because the biggest players on the world stage do not want you to. To them, unstable governments are nothing more.
I get. So the thing here, the fascinating framing here that I was like, wait, hold on a minute, hold the phone, is that they're trying to frame this as like, you don't know about this, and they're going to go into because China and Russia don't want you to, because all of this is leading to how Venezuela can be destabilized for the use of a imperial power, while specifically seeming to lay that at the feet of Russia or China, not so subtly hinting at that, like, U.S. is going to do all the exact same shit, but we got to do it before they do it. It's just like, yeah, listen to this shit.
More than the greatest of opportunities. So, Russia, China, can never be the most major threat until countries like Venezuela leave the door open to our very own backyard.
Fucking moron. And Alex Jones, for the people who are geopolitically illiterate and don't understand why Trump did what he did, they may help. You are witnessing a return to the Monroe Doctrine. Famously well-loved doctrine, by the way. No, exactly. Nitric oxide. Alex Jones supporting regime change to prevent China and Russia's influence, while Alex Jones support Russia's trying to spread influence in Ukraine. Yeah. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. This show's just like real life. Hi, I'm also 12. Oh, man. Tom Clancy would like severe... Well, Tom Clancy is dead. So the important thing to notice about Tom Clancy is Tom Clancy was a very jingoistic, military fetishistic writer in a lot of ways. But Tom Clancy's name it's a brand now. It is, you know, but God, he passed away years and years ago. It's just basically being maintained like an estate and used to write and sell new shit. Nehemia, thank you very much for $5. Maybe you could do a video essay on Jack Ryan. Maybe I want to do Yellowstone first, and then I was thinking of actually one on Sopranos, because I just fucking love Sopranos. If, God, with any luck, this will get me off of doing the most heinous type of journalism in the world, and I can just be a fucking, like, solid YouTuber again. I miss doing not what I do all the time. And so, yeah. Yeah, Clancy's been dead for 12 years. That sounds about right. Yeah, I mean, like, Tom Clancy made a lot of shit. Like, if you have mayhaps heard of, well, Made, his name was on it, and it was kind of a brand thing. But you may have mayhaps heard of, I don't know why the first thing that popped in my head was Tom Clancy's End War, which was a Ubisoft RTS. No, but like Splinter Cell, Rainbow Six, Ghost Recon, those are all Tom Clancy. Rainbow Six is based on a book series, and then there was a shit ton of movies. I think Hunt for Red October was one of them. But Clear and Present Danger, Sum of All Fears, a bunch of stuff. All the Jack Ryan stuff. I think there was 2 Jack Ryan movies with Tom Cruise. Or Jack Reacher. Sorry, Jack fucking whatever. All the same shit to me. Yeah. Hawks. Oh man, Tom Clancy's Hawks. Let's go. There was like, there was a real fucking return to Clancy in the mid-aughts. Like right before he passed away. God, I remember, why do I remember Ghost in the Shell? What? Beautiful Layer, what? No. You're thinking of Ghost Recon. Ghost in the Shell, very different thing. Well, The Division is great because I don't think Tom Clancy literally had anything to do with The Division. Oh yeah, Patriot Games. But yeah, like especially the early Xbox 360 era, he was fucking everywhere. I just remember being like, oh, End War, oh, Hawks. God, Hawks is so fucking dumb to think about. I don't think I ever played Division 2. Why are Christian Americans killing Christian Venezuelans? Because Christian Americans don't actually believe in Christ. Like you missed it earlier, but we had a whole conversation about how Christian Americans, by and large, just simply do not value life. Splinter Shell, crab-themed reboot of the series. Sam Fisher is just a giant crab. He wouldn't be a turtle. Also, I remember, hey, if you want to see something fucking crazy, let me go to one of the weird things I remember from the Tom Clancy spate of shit was, oh my god, YMS highlights. That's terrible for me. Let's go. What was it? It was, I think I've talked about this before. So there was a version of Chaos Theory on the Nintendo DS that was low-key kind of fucking Gouda with the sauce. I mean, it wasn't. It was a bad game. But it was they were like, yo, Nintendo DS, let's make a full version of this, full 3D game, essentially using hardware that is relatively similar to a Nintendo 64. And it's kind of this, like, the Nintendo DS is a repository of really great low poly games. If you haven't checked it out, or if you love a good low poly look or low poly horror or anything, Nintendo DS, go fucking download some Nintendo DS emulators. Yes, and 3 frames a second. The entire game. This is a good frame rate for this game, by the way. I want to see if I can get to the point where, because there's like third person cameras and shit. Like, yeah, look at that. There was thermal imaging and night vision too, which made the frame rate literally unusable. Where are we going? But it was cool that it was in it, I guess. And it seems, I think the whole game is just this one area, it looks like. Or maybe not. Oh, it's very technologically advanced. Very interesting, if nothing else. I was obsessed with the Revenge of the Sith DS game. Me too, except I had it on the Game Boy Advance, which is the exact same game, except it didn't have the third-person, like, flying missions. I miss Hexen. You are in luck, Trump Reaper. Hexen and Heretic both got a pretty good re-release last year. What was the other game? Oh, yeah. If y'all don't know about, I'm gonna turn you on to game here real quick while we're on the subject of DS, and I wanna talk about something that isn't a total fucking nightmare shit show. So walk with me for a moment. But if y'all don't know game about fucking Dementium 2, Dementium 2 fucking whips. Except this looks like bad gameplay of it. I don't want that. 500,000 views. Man. Germa was just playing Dementium recently. Germa, don't steal my fucking steez. All right, what do we? It's the Witch. It's a very short game though, but goddamn, is it so good. I really fucking wish they would put Dementium 2 on. They would remaster it like they did Dementium 1. Dementium 1 is on the PS fucking 5. Pack 1996, have you seen Captain Laserhawk? Yeah, I did say. They made Chem Fisher legless due to a war injury, and he still kicks ass of henchmen. That's funny. I have not seen it, but I am aware of it. All I remember was that hot cow that Rayman... It was a horse? The fine-ass cow that Rayman was eating sushi off of. Let me see if I can go Sledgehammer. I want to show off the... Yeah, this boss. This is one of my favorite bosses. Oh, we're never getting beyond Good and Evil 2. Absolutely not. Yeah, this is one of my favorite. Also, just the level of detail and like variety in the environments and stuff on the DS. Like this is like the people who didn't have a Nintendo DS don't understand what a technological feat this fucking game is, because this is Also, this game is fucking expensive as shit now. I had to sell mine when I was poor, and I don't have a DS to play it anymore, but I do regret it because I played this game a lot when I was much younger. Very near and dear to my heart. But yeah, battery, save point, boss fight. So one of my... Is that the GoldenEye engine? No, I don't think so. I think it's... Well, because like the GoldenEye remake wasn't even the original like GoldenEye engine. Oh, the fucking design for this thing is so good. Oh yeah, Sonus Occulti. Metal Gear Solid 3 was my favorite way to play Metal Gear 3 until the new version, because it was the only one that allowed for regular third-person controls, which kind of breaks the game a little bit, but man, the 3D was so fucking good in that game too. Like, you would have thought that game was made for 3D the whole time. Like the scale, nobody was doing this shit. Did I play the Medal of Honor PSP games? I remember I played a little bit of one. I don't remember what it was, but all right. Let's go. Packed night. Yeah, you asked that. Have I played Lucius? No, I have not. What is going on? Why is my thing doing that? Alrighty, chat. I just got notification that my partner's on the way home. I am going to take us over somewhere else. We aren't going to get to watch many videos or anything tonight. I will be back Wednesday. I just kind of wanted to touch base, talk about the current video. If you have not seen, by the way, the video we just put up, please go leave it on in the background. Please go like and follow. Please share it as widely as possible. I interviewed 7 people who have been dealing with just reprehensible harassment because of Grok and Elon Musk. And I worked really fucking hard all night. I was up until 1. Like I said, woke up, went to bed at 1 or 2, sorry. Woke up around 7 and got right to work. So, but thank y'all. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope everybody's able to stay a little bit sane. And we will, let me take y'all out and put y'all on to, oh, we got a lot of, choices for people tonight. Let's go to, let's go say hi to Riverboat Jack because it seems like she's starting up. And I hope y'all have a great rest of your night. And check out, watch the Grok video. Let me know what you think. Leave engagement, share, like, do all the things. And by the way, don't forget to like and follow if you're on YouTube or Twitch. I just found out that for a lot of my videos, at least half of the viewership isn't subscribed. So another way I'm going to start moving different this year is I'm going to be talking a lot more about fucking subbing and doing all that